Hi guys, and today I'm going to be talking about no wife syndrome theory. So we're going to be talking about race, success, and legacy. Y'all can see that? Okay, I'm going to put this up here and I want y'all to look at it and then we're going to go over it. Okay, so the no wife syndrome theory is a man who is unmarried and is not getting the benefits of a wife, but specifically someone who is famous or building something. Let's start with entertainment, like music entertainment. Drake compared to Ice Cube, not comparing their legacies, their impact, their music, just certain things about their lifestyle. Future, Gucci Mane, Diddy, and Jay-Z. So let's get into Diddy and Jay-Z for a minute. And this is the question. What will your life be reduced to? Let me see if I can prop this up with something. After everything is said and done, what will your life be reduced to when you die? For Diddy, it will be freak-offs and baby oil. For Jay-Z, it'll be Rock Nation and a multi-million-dollar catalog and being a billionaire. See, both Diddy and Jay-Z are billionaires. Only one of them has a legacy. It's a difference between a legacy and a lineage. A lineage is just having children. A lot of men get that confused. Legacy is actually having an impact or leaving something behind, material, okay? Not necessarily money, but assets, ideas, etc. Drake, well, let's do Future and Gucci Mane. Future, you know what his life is like. Women, drugs, basically doing the same thing over and over again. The performance is very much dwindling. He's on a decline with the performance. And we can't even say it's about age because when you look at Gucci Mane, it's completely different. He's more refined, more educated. He is more disciplined, and it's because he has a wife. He hasn't had any scandals, to my knowledge, ever since he married Keisha Kior. There is a caveat: you actually have to marry a good woman, but usually, well, with everybody that I mentioned, they have pretty good wives. Jay-Z has Beyonce, Ice Cube has his wife, Gucci Mane has Keisha Kior. In this, I'm specifically talking about men who are famous, rich, or want to build something. We're going to touch on LeBron, then we're going to go to Drake, which Drake I have a lot to say about. LeBron. So the thing about having a wife is the wife brings you discipline. Men need discipline. It is a requirement because if they don't, they start killing and raping people, especially when they get rich. That's why I'm only talking about rich, because men like excess. They're never satisfied when they have money, especially. And that's why I said in the video, there's four sexualities when you get famous as a man: pedophile, gay, white woman, or BDSM, or some type of kink. LeBron obviously has the sexuality of liking white women. Now, Savannah James gave up her whole life and identity to be the wife of LeBron James, birth him NBA-ready children, and basically be a nobody. All her life is, I'm LeBron James' wife. That is it. In my opinion, that's her life. It wouldn't be my life. I wouldn't want my whole existence is just being somebody's helpmate, which I don't believe in that because women are like just as complex and just as important as men. And a lot of men don't understand Sonder. Sonder means that everybody in this world has a complex, important life just like you do. And what has Savannah James got from that? Being cheated on and publicly embarrassed. So LeBron, he's not necessarily a good example of this because the formula is married, loyal in parentheses because you don't always have to be loyal to benefit from having the structure of having a wife and a family, respects women and understands Sonder and knows the value of a good woman. So he has 3 of these things, maybe 2. He's married and he understands the value of a good woman. And that's really all you need. So I would say he's benefiting from this because he really doesn't have any scandals. If you think about it, other than cheating on his wife, there's no, oh, he's doing this yet, or maybe it never will happen. I hope it doesn't happen. Now, Drake. The reason why I wanted to start this video is because of Drake. Because the way his career is going, the way his legacy is going, he can never undo what he did because he's done so much. My favorite rapper of all time. However, Iceman, booty. Completely ass, dog water. This is the thing with Drake. He doesn't have anybody that loves him around him, or these people are in the same lifestyle as him, so they don't know how to tell him to stop because they don't know how to tell themselves to stop. He's an alcoholic, allegedly, but he is. When I was watching him on Wireless, he kept asking him to give him a shot. Oh, can I get a drink? Can I get a shot? You can't do a 2-hour set without getting a shot, mama. If you can't go 2 hours without alcohol, that's a problem. If you watch him on Steak Lives, he's always asking for a drink. When you watch his newest Bobby Altoff interview, can you get us some drinks? Can you refill our drinks? Oh, we need some shots. Da-da-da-da. Obviously, he has alcohol issues. And you always see him smoking that shisha, too. Then add on to the fact that he's broken inside. He's a Scorpio. Which, if you see this, he's definitely going to make a meme out of me. Because he's immature. He's an immature and sensitive Scorpio. And it's hard for him to take criticism and good advice. That's another reason I think that people around him really don't care about him, because they're just watching him basically make a fool out of himself and the quality of the music go down, because they know he's not going to be able to take any good advice. However, I would have 40, Noel, Mark, Nico, all them people, all the OVOs people, the original OVO people who's been there since like the 2000s. They should have band together and said, we're not going to work for you anymore unless you get your alcohol problems together. Unless you stop inviting random women everywhere we go, trying to fill this void of some type of heartbrokenness that he's had in his past. And now he's just fucking with random women. Like Ben the Don came out and said, the women at the hotel just line up for Drake. And he just picks a couple and takes them back to the room. For men, I guess this is the life that they look up to. However, fucking with random women each night is not really good for your health, like mental health. When you have too much of something, when you have an influx of anything that you want is at your disposal and you don't have really any discipline, or really understanding and spiritual knowing, you will go overboard. And that's his problem. He has a gambling problem, allegedly, alcoholism problem, allegedly, and I don't want to say a sex problem, but an influx of women problem. And compare him to an Ice Cube who's been married since the 90s, and look at Ice Cube's legacy. Great rap career, got into the movie scene, and now he has a son who's doing very big things. I watched his son in a movie that was stationed overseas. It was like this action movie. Great actor. He built a family with a good woman, and his kids are successful. That's the dream, in my opinion. But you know what it is? It's race does play into this. That's what I was saying. Because what the white man sells the black man is money, cars. Let me write this down. Money, cars, women, attention. What the white man tells his children, and every other culture tells their children, assets, marriage, wealth, reputation. You see the difference? Money versus wealth, cars versus assets, attention versus reputation, marriage versus women. So when you see a lot of the downfall of black men, and I said something about this on my song, I Am Inevitable. They say black man take over around the city, but if you niggas would act right, there'd be no committees. Stop playing victim when you guilty, not innocent. It don't matter who got away or who benefits. Because often the talking points you hear from like the Joe Budden podcast, that brainless fucking podcast, they said, oh, why every time a black man rapes somebody, he go to jail, but the white man don't? Rape is illegal. It doesn't matter who gets away or who benefits. You should go to jail if you rape somebody. Stop worrying about what the white man is doing. That's why I've said before, the black man looks up to the white man because he want to be him. But you're not seeing what he's actually doing. You're just seeing the power he has, and you're associating certain things with that power. But that's the things that he's selling you. That's not the things that he's doing. And the prime example of this is Jermaine Dupri got on the Joe Budden podcast and said the owner of Sony came in on a huge yacht with his wife and children. And Jermaine Dupri came in on it and was sitting at the dock with a boat that he rented with a whole bunch of women. The Sony guy came down and said, don't ever get married. And Jermaine Dupri is using this example as to say, oh, I shouldn't get married because you don't buy the nice cars for your wife. You buy it for an influx of women. However, there's the two main things. Jermaine Dupri is renting a yacht. The owner of Sony owns a yacht. Jermaine Dupri is signed to Sony. The Sony guy owns Sony. So this is the definition of success and your definition of legacy. And how do you want your life to be? What do you want for your life? Do you want to own Sony or do you want to be signed to Sony? Do you want to own the mega yacht or do you want to be renting a small boat? That is the question that men have to ask themselves. Those two questions. Own Sony, sign to Sony. Rent a small boat or own a super yacht. If you want to own Sony and own a super yacht, assets, marriage, wealth, and reputation is what you need to be focused on. Because the only thing money, cars, women, and attention is going to get you is Jermaine Dupri's life. Cheated on Janet Jackson, a bad bitch who was loyal to him. A bad bitch that was loyal to him, and she's still bad today. As we speak, she is bad today. Your life could have been so much different, Jermaine, if you would have took the owner's route. The owner is telling you that because he's laughing at you. Or he might actually envy your lifestyle, but if he was in your shoes, he would want his old lifestyle back. Because, yeah, it looks cool to have an influx of women. Oh, your wife's not sucking your dick as much as you would like. Boo-hoo. I really don't have that much empathy for that. However, because look at your life. Look at your life. You have everything that you want. And it's pretty much, your hands are so clean because of the discipline that comes with having a wife. When you have somebody to answer to, when you have a family to protect and to come home to, that they're looking up to you as the leader, not only the leader of the family, not just because he's a man, by the way, but also somebody to look up to as a role model, your life becomes different. Future has a whole bunch of baby mamas. Same with Diddy. Jay-Z, one baby mama allegedly. They be saying he got other kids, but Beyonce has all of his kids. Let's just say that. And he's married to his baby mama. Ice Cube, married to his baby mama. Gucci Mane might have some kids outside of the marriage, but he's married to his baby mama. Drake, not married to his baby mama. You see the difference? You see the difference? See, Ice Cube, Jay-Z, and Gucci Mane, they looked at what the white man was doing, not selling them. The white man sells you something different than what he's doing because he doesn't want you to have anything. He wants you to have whips and chains, just like back in the day when it was whipping y'all and chaining y'all. Now it's just chains around your neck and whip in your hand. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when it comes down to the no wife syndrome, you got to really look at what the people that you aspire to be are doing, not saying and telling you. And I think the Sony guy was just making fun of him. Maybe him and his wife is not having as much sex as he would like. He has a way to cheat on his wife without his wife knowing. So it's the owner of Sony is not lacking in pussy. Let's just say that. But let's go even deeper. With the exception of one president, every president has been married. President of the United States, leader of the free world, has a family unit. Michelle Obama's one of her favorite famous quotes was, because Obama asked her, what if you married the chef? What would your life be like? And she said she would still be first lady because he would have been president. These wives are the glue to every empire. The wife, the woman, is the glue to every empire. But Drake understands the value of women, though, especially a good woman. Drake understands that because he came into the game making music for women. And he does have some rumors about him being an asshole, whatever. But you notice he doesn't have any rumors about domestic violence. You notice he doesn't have any rumors about raping bitches. You notice how even though he said on tour that his karma is good, you notice that he honors women. And he is chivalrous to women. He was helping Sexy Red take off her shoes, picked up Lotto's coat when she dropped it, I think, when he was doing the wireless thing. He's chivalrous to women. He's generous to women. When some guy was beating up his girlfriend in the crowd, he said something to that man to get him to stop. Do you see, he understands the value of a good woman. He's just too toxic to be able to maintain a relationship with one. That's just my opinion. And he respects women. So Drake could be there. Drake gotta heal himself. Drake should have got married a long time ago, in my opinion. His legacy would have definitely went different. Because he should have either stopped making music and retired, or kept up the quality of the music that he was making. But if he couldn't keep up the quality, he should have just stopped music and retired. But that wife would have told him, you're an alcoholic, and you have a gambling addiction, and you need to get help, or you're going to lose me and your son. That's what a wife would have said. Not a girlfriend, maybe a girlfriend, but a wife would have told him, you're going to end up losing me and your son if you keep going down this path. And imagine how Drake's life would be if he got healthy. Like really healthy. Mentally and physically, spiritually healthy. Imagine how his life would be. But another thing is the market. We have a whole bunch of, this touches on the Joe Budden podcast a little bit. We have a whole bunch of black little boys that don't have fathers that look up to grown men who are not good representations of what a black man should be, but instead of, looking for positive representation, which is not a lot on the internet, and it's not a lot on a young black boy's FYP, they look at people like Joe Budden. They look at people like academics, who is a joke and disrespects women and black women continuously and has some weird cases and was caught talking inappropriately to a 15-year-old boy. But because a lot of black boys don't have good representation at home, they look at the bad representation online to take the place of what a father would be. And if you don't want to be a good representation for little black boys, you need to be relentless to your black male friends to stay in their child's life. It doesn't matter, oh, she poked a hole in a condom, she trapped me with the baby. I don't really care. If you have a child on earth, you need to be taking care of that child. Simple. Simple. If you have a child, that goes for man or woman. If you have a child on earth, you should be taking care of said child. Simple. So either y'all need to start holding each other accountable to stay in the child's life, because it's not a coincidence that only black people are assumed to not have a father. By the way, I have a father. It's not a coincidence because black men are notorious for not taking care of their responsibilities. And that is why the white man tells you money, attention, cars, and women instead of assets, marriage, wealth, and reputation. Because they know how you are. Okay, let's go into Shannon Sharpe versus Russell Wilson. We could do Future versus Russell Wilson because that's a popular comparison, but I want to do music, then sports. Russell Wilson, separate from him being a man of God, and the other guy was going to say Stephen Curry, religion was created for men to discipline them. Discipline the men that would not have marriage. If you look back in history, they gave incels priest jobs. That's why the job of a priest is to not have sex. That's one of the requirements, because the incels wasn't getting sex anyway. So they made this a pious thing. Oh, you're abstaining from sex? You're so pious. No, you just don't have the skills to be able to garner pussy. You see what I'm saying? So religion was meant to keep men in check. Because pre-religion, even a little after religion, nobody died a natural death. They were just being killed by men. Men would come into the villages and kill everybody. After they got done raping the children and the women, they would just set the village on fire. Y'all see the movies of them doing that. That's not fake. This is based on real, actual history. They would come into small villages, rape the women and children, and then set the village on fire. Then religion started coming in and telling them, thou shalt not kill. You don't have to tell a woman not to kill. Like, literally. This messaging is not for women. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Women do be cheating, but that rhetoric was created for men because they need to be able to know. Well, I kind of pray for women because they need to be able to know who was the heir to the land and everything like that. But they know that what happens to men when they cheat and when they become promiscuous, their mind is not where it needs to be. A man who is disciplined, sexually disciplined, always will have the ultimate control in situations with sexually undisciplined men. That's why they always send women to go trick niggas out their spot, because they know that you're susceptible to that. Anyways, Russell Wilson versus Shannon Sharpe. Russell Wilson got a baddie. Sierra is a baddie. After 5 kids, Sierra is still a fucking baddie. She is beautiful. She's supportive, she is loyal, she's intelligent, and she's talented. Shannon Sharpe, nobody, nothing, paying little ugly white girls millions of dollars because he's sexually undisciplined and doesn't have a wife and hates black women and hates his black children. Nothing more to be said there. Anthony Edwards, who is constantly in the media for some bullshit and impregnates random women and bullies them to get an abortion. Versus Stephen Curry, married to a loyal woman who has had children for him and who he has a strong family unit with. And Stephen Curry is on his way to be one of the greatest of all time in basketball. See, the woman is the foundation. She's the center. If you look at spiritual everything, the woman is the center. She is the foundation to everything. To everything. And that's why it's important to have a good woman on your side and in your camp and being close to a good woman in proximity and romantically, because they will help you build an empire. Jay-Z and Beyonce did so much for Jay-Z's career. When she said, let me upgrade you, she turned this fucking guy who was selling drugs into a fucking a real businessman. A real businessman. This nigga is so refined and so much different than he was before he married her. Like night and day. It was like night and day. Gucci Mane especially. That nigga was obese, hood nigga, in jail. He married Keisha Kayor. Have you seen Gucci Mane lately? Extremely refined. Extremely refined. And being refined has nothing to do with whiteness. It has something to do with being civilized. And now that I'm done with this, I am going to get into what I was going to just talk about. With the being refined and whiteness and everything like that. And this is what I'm going to talk about. Pro-blackness, and why I am not pro-black by the standards in which popular society has set pro-blackness to be. pro-black. I am pro-black in a way I want black people to do better and have more. Most pro-black people want racism to end on every level. Not saying I don't want racism to end, however, it's not going to happen in the way that you guys want it. You're not going to just get a blank check to erase all racism. That's never going to happen. Let me explain something to y'all. There is a spectrum of racism, okay? So I was propping my phone up on a glass of water, and yeah, it just spilled. There's a spectrum of racism. At the very bottom, I hate black people because they're black. Because they're black, and I want them to die. That is the very end. In the middle is I hate black people. Get them away from me. Not the very middle, but closer to the end. I hate black features. I think they're ugly stereotypes about black people you believe. And then the highest form of racism is just classism. So what the racism that black people at the top, like very famous black people deal with, is the two in the middle. I hate black people, get them away from me. I hate black people, their features, the stereotypes about black people. Where Megyn Kelly falls in, that racist white bitch I always talking about, Beyonce, she's more in, I hate black people, I'm not going to acknowledge their contributions to history because I'm just a dumb racist. That's in between, I hate black people, get them away from me. I hate black people's features, and I believe the stereotypes about them. Okay? Most people that experience racism experience dumb racist to classism. I would say 75%. The other 25% is like Ku Klux Klan, I hate black people, get them away from me, Jim Crow type of thing. Okay? A lot of black people experience classism. That's why white people don't like you, and that's why some white people say, I have black friends, I'm not racist. Because they don't see their black friend, or I don't see color. They're not seeing their black friend for being black, they just see the black friend for being a person. But the reason why, I don't know why is because class doesn't always have to be tax bracket. It's behavior as well. And I'm about to get real racist right now. When you wear a nigga costume and you wonder why white people treat you bad, it's because you look like a criminal. You got your pants sagging, you smell like weed, you got a speaker playing loud music, you got a blunt behind your ear, and you're being loud and aggressive in public. I am going to treat you like I don't want to be around you. And we're both black because you are the stereotypical nigga. It's disgusting to me to see it in public. You look like a degenerate, and that's why you get treated that way. That same black person, like the same white person that was racist towards you, if you wore a suit, had a briefcase, and was walking with your back straight, looking like you had some business, they would not be racist towards you. You just look uncivilized and unrefined. And it has nothing to do with, fitting into white America. Africans in Africa wear suits, nigga. This has nothing to do with whiteness. This has something to do with class. Okay? There's a difference between niggas and black people. And the reason why a lot of regular black people face the dumb racists and the classists is because of niggas. They think we're all niggas when it's not the truth. That's what I face. I face the classism and the dumb racists because they associate me with you niggas. What is the criteria for a nigga? Uneducated. No class in public. An outfit that would suggest criminal activity. And I know this sounds harsh, but it's the truth. So now that we got this out the way, I'm going to put this up for y'all to take a screenshot or whatever, or save. Then I'm going to erase it and explain my version of pro-blackness. I want black people to have more and do better. Okay? It's kind of hot. Oh. I like this new technology. You can turn on the air from the remote. Okay. And a lot of niggas be stealing and doing bullshit. That's why they group all black people in together when we're not all the same. Okay? I want black people to do better and have more. This is what do better mean? I want to break everything down. This is why I was going to school to be a teacher. I still am, but I'm just taking a pit stop at being a professional musician. Because I can really break some shit down. I love a whiteboard. Do better. Under my regime, if I was president, all gangsters, all gang members, all drug dealers with the exception of weed, all pimps would go to jail for life. No parole. All scammers, all GTAs, Grand Theft Autos, do you call it, liquor store robbers, all robbers, the thieves, y'all getting 10 years in prison. Okay, now let me erase that. Do better. No more crime. Stop doing crimes that especially are unnecessary. Some crimes is necessary, like stealing diapers for your baby. That's different than sticking up a fucking liquor store for the $50 in the drawer, nigga. There's difference. Crime must end in the black community. The unnecessary, well, it's never necessary, but the unnecessary crime, rape, domestic violence, selling drugs, scamming, etc. It has to end. Prioritize education. Pay for your children's education. Sign the loan for your child to get an education. Asian parents will sell their house so their child can go get an education. What the fuck is your excuse? Why aren't y'all helping y'all children get education? Education is the only key to get power. Knowledge is power. Money isn't power if you're too dumb to know how to spend it. Knowledge equals power. That is the only way you will ever get power in any world, is to be knowledgeable. If you do not have knowledge, you will never have power. Oh, your college degree is not gonna be worth it. White man system, white man system. We live in a white man system. How the fuck we gonna get out this game if we don't learn how to play it, nigga? You can't get to the end of the game if you ain't playing. How do you get to the end of a video game? Playing the damn video game. You niggas be on Call of Duty so much. Take them fucking lessons and go into the real world. The premise, not the fucking gun violence. Community and high standards. You can't have community with low standards. I be wanting to patronize black businesses, but when the service is bad, the food is terrible. Actually, I look like a monkey when I do this. Okay. Nobody wants to patronize your business if you do not have good standards for what you're doing. Get out of this mindset of designer. When they talk about how they con the black man into basically being a mental slave for the white man's plight, they talked about designer. How the black man always want to have a white man name on him, and as soon as he gets some money, he puts it into the white man's hand. Get out of this designer shit. All this flashy shit. Trying to keep up with the Joneses. Prioritize, for men, marriage. I mean, they have to marry a woman. However, if a man is going to get married, please don't think that the wife is supposed to be this fucking house slave. That is a problem in the black community. This is so deep. The black man want to do what the white man do, but the black woman and the white woman is not equal. The black man and the black woman is equal. The white woman is below the white man. That's why he treats her like a slave, because that's what she is. Not saying white women is slaves, but they literally birth their own oppressors and hold up a system that oppresses everybody. The only reason why white men have so much power is because of the white women associated with them. They put a battery in their back to go commit genocide. This is not hyperbole, okay? The white woman is literally the wheels on the train of oppression. Literally. The train is not going without the white woman's stamp of approval. And the white woman does not care about the freedom of everybody. She only wants sexism to end. She does not care about racism. That's kind of why the white woman, black man thing works so well, because the black man wants to end racism, not sexism, and the white woman wants to end sexism, not racism. So they get together because they, have both some kind of like oppressive ideologies. He has one power, one negative. He's black, but he's a man. She's white, but she's a woman. But that race always goes up your gender. But they didn't understand that. That's why they get robbed out of house and home. Nevertheless, if you're going to be in a marriage, it needs to be a partnership. You need to be bringing something to the table as a man. Don't think that this woman is your house slave. And the black man feels so oppressed during like normal day life that he wants to have a slave for himself. Y'all got to get out that mentality. So if you're going to be in a marriage, you actually need to be a good husband and a good person, not using religion and stereotypes to oppress women and gain the benefits of having a wife without being beneficial to her as a husband, as a person. Marriage, your reputation, wealth and assets. That's what the man needs to focus on. Marriage, reputation, wealth, and assets. If you want to build a legacy, if you want to build anything. The woman, education, self-love. Education and self-love, because a lot of women get themselves in bad predicaments because they don't love themselves. The woman that's staying in a domestic violence relationship for years and years and years and years, she don't love herself. The woman that is allowing her new boyfriend to rape her daughter don't love herself, or that daughter. And that's another thing. You bitches that allow men to abuse your children just so you can say you have a man, you are beneath even the ditties of the world. I could never let nothing happen to my child. And just to say you got a man. But this is the problem with sexism. Everything is so connected, but this is the problem with sexism. When they have forced women to believe that having a man is the best thing you can have in this life, they will do anything to keep said man. That's why y'all need to decenter men. Because y'all keep thinking the man is everything. Yay, man. No matter if he a bullshit ass nigga, broke ass nigga, dumb ass nigga. That's what y'all need to stop. Stop getting in relationships with bitch ass niggas and wonder why your life is shit. Because you with a shitty boy. You married a bitch. That's why you have a suck ass life. Stop getting on the internet complaining about your husband when you knew what he was when you got with him. We don't want to hear it. But when you condition a group and a generation of women to believe that having a man is the best thing you can have in life, more than food, water, education, anything, they will do anything to keep this said asset. They're basically equating a man to gold and wondering why these women is doing anything to keep the gold. But a man is not gold. Surprise. It's not easy to get gold. And it's easier to get a man than it is to get clean drinking water, globally. Nevertheless, you bitches have to stop sacrificing.
And the marriage thing, one more thing about that.
This guy got on the podcast thing and said, y'all ain't built like y'all grandmothers. Y'all don't want to endure. Love is not supposed to endure. The grandma had to do everything. Some of y'all grandmas had to work and still be cook, clean, fuck, suck, and work and pay half of the bills or more. Y'all think that the woman is a slave because that's what society has taught y'all. Woman equals slave because that's how society has treated women, as if they are slaves. They don't have lives. They're just little Barbie dolls waiting to be used. That's why Drake is in the predicament he's in, because he's using women as a band-aid for his wounds that he has from anything that he's went through in life, instead of, finding, let me heal myself and actually find a good woman so I can, benefit from the richness of life. Not material richness, but getting outside of that world and realizing there's so much more to life than gambling, Cabo, or Turks and Caicos, and pussy. Emotional intelligence across the board, man and woman. We need emotional intelligence and therapy. And some of y'all need medication. Because a lot of y'all is undiagnosed schizophrenic, ADHD, autism. That's why you can't be in a good relationship, because you're mentally ill. Have more. If all black people cease to exist from all entertainment spaces, music, sports, movies, there would be no entertainment anymore. Okay? That's just the power in that. If all black people left all of the for-profit prisons and, the jail system where they allow black people to be used as slaves, which some of you niggas is slaves. With the dumbass nigga people who basically contribute nothing to the world and only take, y'all should be slaves. But nevertheless, have more. More wealth, more unity, more assets, more education. We don't really need more power in this country. We just need to understand the power that we already have and use it when necessary. And more class. God damn. The black dollar is worth a lot. I'm gonna just say that. All right, have a good day.